It might be a farewell from me, but it's not the end of the Runna Podcast.
Thank you for everything, Ben. You really have changed people's lives, and you've changed my life.
We've had a lot of very funny moments.
Please could you leave us with 2 of your best coaching tips?
The greats that we've talked to, they wanted to be the best version of themselves.
I know we've got all the tools now to continue helping people be the best runners and enjoy the sport as much as they can.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Runna Podcast. And the reason why it's a special episode is it's actually going to be my last episode. It's been a wild past 5.5 or so years, both building Runna, and then the last 100 weeks or more, we've launched a weekly podcast episode without missing one. Both myself and Anya, myself without Anya, Anya without me, and with our amazing co-host Kayla in the US as well. But we figured that the best way to reflect on those 100 episodes that we've done together was to pick out a bit of a montage of our favorite bits. So we're going to be running through our 2 most inspiring takes, our 2 funniest clips, and then also leaving you with my 2 number 1 coaching tips for you to take away with as well.
Yeah, that's big news, but we're very sad and very excited. Let's see it as a lovely celebration. Try to recap all the amazing guests that we've spoken to and amazing conversations we've had. Shall we talk about our first most inspiring guest?
Absolutely. I think this one was easy when I was trying to reflect on my favourite people that we've spoken to. And it's funny because we've actually spoken to him twice. Both one of our earlier episodes, immediately after winning his gold medal in a very exciting finish, but also live here at Runna HQ in front of a live audience. And that's Alex Yee.
So Alex has this amazing ability to be one of the most inspiring people we've ever spoken to. A conversation that I think has sat with us for a long time. Both times we've had the privilege of interviewing him, but also he feels like just the guy next door. Like, he is so humble.
I think it's a through line that we'll maybe talk about in a moment, but he wins the Olympic gold medal and you kind of say what's next, you know, with a view that some people experience what's called gold medal syndrome. Once they've achieved an amazing height, they struggle to match that again. But he wasn't worrying about that. Instead, he was criticizing himself. Oh, I could make my swimming a little bit better if I did that, and I could make my cycling, I could be a bit better with that, and my running, which is ridiculous after winning the Olympic gold. I mean, he's gone and done it with reference to the things he's achieved in his running already since. And I mean, the maybe the funniest thing that we had to experience or got the pleasure of experience, I think was before we turned the cameras on. In all of that faff when we're getting ready before recording, Anya and I are probably having our mics turned on or making us sit in the right spots. And Alex is kind of patiently waiting while holding a aero tuck. Kind of sat in his chair, leaning forwards, resting on his forearms, head and shoulders rolled in, as if that is his kind of natural resting form, which I loved. I don't even think he realised he was doing it, but it was absolutely magnificent, and I will never forget that. But shall we roll the tape?
Let's do it.
The gold medal, like we were all watching downstairs in the office and screaming.
So good.
There was a moment where it looked like you were falling behind. Did you know? Were you in control the whole way?
I'd love to say I was in control and I was cool as anything, but I think I was calm and was trying to race my own race, but I knew that the pace that Hayden had come past me, I just felt a little bit depleted and couldn't go with that pace at the time. And yeah, as the race went on, I started to kind of feel better and better, and I started to believe. And for me, there was always a chance, and as the line got closer, that chance got more and more, and I just wanted to do myself justice across that finish line and know that I'd given 100%, and that would be enough for me.
Do you remember what went through your head in the moments after he went past, before you had that energy? Like, do you remember what you thought about that got you going?
Well, I guess for me, when he first broke away, I think I was just trying to stay very internally focused in what I was doing, and I knew that at that time, the best thing for me wasn't to go with him. As we got closer and closer, I just wanted to do myself justice and make sure I empty the tank before I finished across the finish line, and led to a little bit of magic, which was really, really cool.
And as you overtake, like, is that creating almost a positive feedback loop that like you've caught up, you've overtaken, you're unstoppable, or are you frightened that he's coming with you? Like, what's your thoughts then?
For me, I didn't think much when I overtook him. If I'm being honest, I just wanted to give it 100%. And if I'd crossed the line giving 100%, that was enough for me. And I could lay my head on that pillow at the end of the day and be like,
so it
yeah,
seems
I'm
it
happy.
seems like you're almost winning by accident, as in like you're not thinking about what anyone else is doing, and you're just doing your very best, and that's what matters to you.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, the whole, and probably a little bit of this is tricking people and trying to take a little bit of pressure off myself. But the thing for me going into that Olympics was if I got everything out of my body, left no stone unturned when I stood on the start line, then I could lay my head on that pillow at the end of the day and be happy with what I'd achieved and be proud of what I'd achieved. It happened to end in a gold and a bronze, which was amazing. But yeah, if that had ended in whatever it may have been, but I could truly, hand on heart, say I'd given everything, I would be proud of myself.
I have goosebumps just listening to that back. I think that his story around the Olympics was incredible. I remember him saying that the date was changed. And so I think at that point, so much was out of his control. The one thing that he had was his mindset, and he has a mindset of steel.
It sounds funny to describe maybe an Olympic final as a relatable takeaway, but for so many people doing their 5Ks or their marathons or whatever it is, Alex found that in that final 10% of his race, his biggest rival comes past, and it'd be so easy to, throw in the towel and let your kind of mindset drop, which is the same feeling when you're in the walls coming over you in your marathon and you're not quite able to hit the ambitious A-pace goal you really wanted, and do you just give up? But no, like he stayed calm, stayed true to himself, focused on all the training that he's done, and he was able to bring it back, speed up, rein him in, and win in style.
Yeah.
Which I think you can have all the training in the world behind you, but that comes to like what's in between your ears,
Yeah, exactly. It is his mindset, but it's interesting that he didn't panic when Hayden overtook him. He didn't think, I've got to match Hayden's pace. It was, okay, now is the time to absolutely empty my tank and get the most out of myself so that, as he said, he can lay his head on that pillow and be like, I've given it my all.
Well, it's also an interesting through line that we see with a few of the, I would say, the greats that we've talked to, which is, both Alex, Paula Radcliffe, Lucy Charles-Barclay, all the people who like undeniably become the best in their sport, don't talk about the rival that they had to keep yo-yoing against. They just talk about how they wanted to be the best version of themselves. And they do that with this relentless intensity that leads to them accidentally, to some extent, being better than everyone around them.
Yeah.
Which is also so funny because to anyone at home as well, we should just do the very best we can at everything that's in our control. And obviously that doesn't need to lead to us becoming a world champion, but hopefully that can lead to us being in control of our lives, being healthy, happy people. And it's not about worrying about anyone else. And that's the same at the bottom, the middle, and right at the top of sport.
Yeah.
Which I think tees us up nicely to talk about another incredible person who focused on her relentless quest to be the best. She came second at the Ironman World Championships in Kona in 2017 and pulled up her socks after coming second, turns up to the start line 2018, comes second. 2019 comes second, and then comes back to the World Championships again in 2022, comes second. So on the start line of 2023, she has a lot of speculation in media that she's never going to be able to get first. She isn't the favourite, and does the performance of her life and set the course record and gets first place. And I think that is an incredible story.
Yeah, Lucy Charles-Barclay, one of my biggest inspirations ever. Like, I say this, but I wouldn't fangirl if I met a Kardashian. But meeting Lucy, yeah, I was the biggest fangirl ever. That was an incredible conversation. And I think, yeah, that just shows her absolute resilience, because it would have been so easy to throw in the towel and be like, yeah, I'm the second best in the world. That's pretty good going. But that's not what she was there to do.
Well, I think that, the type of person that's good enough to get to second place and to sustain that for those years has clearly got something innate in them
Mhm.
that is that drive to go and get first place.
Mhm.
And June, I think very few people in the world will have that.
Yeah.
Probably similar to someone like Russ Cook, who ran the length of Africa. There's something mental
Yeah.
in his brain that can get him to just push through. And Lucy was an example of that. Like I said, she got the course record in Kona, and she did it with a torn calf.
Yeah.
Absolutely mental. Let's cue the tape.
Leading into the race, I was already written off. No one said that I was even going to make the podium. And they'd said it's the strongest female field ever assembled. So I was like, if there's ever going to be a time to win it, it has to be this year. Like, no one thinks I'm going to do it. And then to win it gun to tape in the fastest time ever was just completely unbelievable. And I think if I hadn't have had the injury that occurred in the race, where I basically tore my entire calf on that marathon, I think I possibly could have been like, I feel like I've done it, I've achieved it all, I've won this, and I possibly could have retired at that point. But for me, I was like, I know I can go faster. I ran the whole marathon with a torn calf. Like, there's definitely more to come. So for me, it motivated me to continue, because I was like, I think I can go faster and hopefully win this title again, but in a more enjoyable way than how I had to suffer for so long. So yeah, I'm still here. I'm still doing this.
Was there ever a moment over those, not 4 years, but a longer period than 4 years, where you like believed the haters, or like you thought maybe you wouldn't do it, or were you always certain that you could get it?
Yeah, I think the world that we live in now with social media, the voices of the haters do get louder, and they do definitely creep in, and you do question yourself. You're like, oh, maybe my best days are behind me, or I've had so many injuries now, maybe my body just can't do this anymore. And it can be really tough. But then I had to kind of sit down, look at the training I'd done and be like, yeah, but I am still progressing forward. Look at the numbers I'm producing in training. Like, if I can do that on the race course, no one can beat me. So you have to kind of, I found it really important to kind of start journaling what I was doing. And that was one of the main things. The mental coach that I worked with, he was like, you need to strip it back, and each day set yourself 3 goals that you want to achieve. And then at the end of the day, write down what you did achieve, and kind of just make it really black and white, and not about what the bigger picture is of trying to win a world title. And I think that really helped me kind of take the pressure off, and also just reflect on the progress I was making every single day. And he would say, you want to try and have a gold medal day as many days as you can, and just be proud of that and proud of the journey. And then no matter what the outcome, know that you're just incredibly proud of the work that you did. And I think that for me, now going into every race, I do feel a lot less pressure, because I'm just proud that I'm there, and then the outcome is a bonus.
Yeah, she kept talking about progress there. And I think that is such a great way to like reframe how many times she came second, because she doesn't see them as failures. As she kept saying, she was like, I'm looking at the numbers, I'm getting fitter, I know I can do it. So I think she saw that journey as a whole, and she was proud of all of those seconds rather than just being proud of that eventual victory, which is probably why she's continued to go on and push the limits.
Well, I mean, they say it's the journey, not the destination. And I think like you've got to learn to love the journey to ever end up at the destination. And June, for her, it was being the world champion in Ironman of the world. But June, for so many people, it's getting to their first half marathon start line. And to some extent, it's the same thing that we need to do. What she's saying is so relatable to all of us, which is that don't let the big goal, the end of the year, what you want to do with your running in a year's time or 2 years' time, paralyze you from starting and having a really good day today, and then have a really good day tomorrow, and you stack a lot of really good days, not every day, but stack a lot of really good days, and you end up in a brilliant outcome. And she gets to the brilliant outcome, and because she's focusing on another good day, she knows she can do more. And it's the same thing that Alex said. You know, he gets the gold medal, she gets the world championship. And it's the same thing. They know they can do better by just carrying on doing the thing that they will work harder at than everyone else.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, she's not thinking every day, like, I've got to beat everybody in that field. I remember in that conversation, she was talking about right at the start of her triathlon journey when she was just an age grouper. Every day from that moment on, she was like, it's going to be my own personal, like, gold level performance. Got better every single day to the point where she was able to stand on that start line, the underdog, and just back her own ability and like have confidence in what she knows she can do.
I love the idea of a gold medal day. I'm gonna like try and remind myself of that, you know. But no, and again, there's a very simple analogy, you know, like getting to somewhere is about, you know, climbing steps up the ladder. But you don't need to climb a step up the ladder every day forever.
Yeah.
You'll go up a few days up, a few good steps up the ladder. You'll go backwards. You go a few steps up. So long as you can zoom out over the longer time horizon and know you're going up the ladder, you're fine. And that's having more gold medal days than bad days. And also probably recognizing that, you know, if a day's not quite going your way, you can still, you know, make the most out of the afternoon as well. And hopefully a lot of, I think it's funny trying to like relate useful tips for normal people to these abnormal specimens of incredible sporting excellence, but it's, you know, we've all got the same mind at the end of the day.
Hey everyone, quickly jumping in to ask you a small favour. We really want to know what you think of the podcast, so we've pulled together a quick survey, which we'd love to hear your thoughts on, because we'll be reading every single answer and it will shape the guests we have on in the future and the topics we cover. So whether it's your first time listening or you've listened to every episode, please head to the link in our bio to fill it out. It will only take 2 minutes. And if you're on a run right now, take a mental note and fill it in whilst you're stretching later. Thank you so much, and let's get back into the episode.
We've got our 2 funniest moments to talk about. I thought you were actually going to tee us up to one of my tips, but we'll save that for later. This was very easy, actually. I mean, we've had a lot of very funny moments, and sometimes we almost have to like pause, control ourselves, and get back into hosting mode. But it's easy having funny moments when you have a comedian on the show. Romesh Ranganathan, despite being a comedian, and is just funny in practically everything he says, somehow he managed to coax Anya into singing a song that I have never heard of or do not recommend or recognize. Recommend. I don't know how I could recommend songs, but my only recommendation now is that you will fast forward 30 seconds. You don't need to listen to this again. But if you do want to hear, here it is. Anya with her debut single.
Yeah, cover your ears. The power of love, a force from above. No.
I cannot believe the courage with which you went into.
I really held eye contact.
I've never heard that song before.
Never heard a song anything like. Wait, Anya, how did it go? The next bit?
Deep in my soul, make love. And then it goes like, you're gold.
You're gold.
Something like that.
And it's the way that you keep going. Like we definitely don't know the song, and we don't recognize what's coming out of your mouth, and you think that, oh, maybe if I just keep going, it will suddenly ring true as a classic.
Oh, but still to this day, I don't know how you don't know that song. I think that came off the back. I did a track session with Romesh, which was one of the funniest track sessions I've ever done. He was so British about it and so self-deprecating that we just kept laughing. And I was like, you've got a job to do, Romesh, like run faster. And we had a stupid camera on him. So we had this like bird's eye view of just his nose. Honestly, that was one of the funniest times like ever recording the Runna Podcast and working here.
He also told us an amazing story of how he was on tour doing some kind of show internationally, and he had asked to make sure he had access to a gym, and they had booked him in a hotel where there's no gym. So then the crew basically built him a gym, or like brought loads of equipment. He didn't really know how to use any of it. Something like that. It was amazing. But as well as being silly and hilarious, he's also a very hardworking, driven person, and he trained with us in 2025 for his second marathon and set a brilliant PB, but he had some very good advice. So we couldn't just share the silly stuff, and here is his beginner advice on how he nailed his second marathon.
The key is run comedically slowly. So it just really go so slow that it would be embarrassing to be seen publicly. That's how slow you want to go, and then you'll build up your distance from then. And that might be the best running advice I've ever had, because I then was like, okay, and so I started doing that, and then I sort of fell in love with it, but I suddenly realised why people were into it. It was just plodding. I discovered plodding, and which I hadn't ever done before. And then I remember I started adding to my distance. This is genuinely true. I ran for like 9 kilometers for the first time in my life. And I phoned a mate to tell him about it. I just ran 9 kilometers. Obviously, they don't care. But it felt like such a significant moment to me that I just didn't think it was inside the realms of possibility that someone like me would run that distance. I mean, I did it slowly, but still, running without stopping for 9 kilometers felt like wild. I felt like I'd moved into a different species.
Romesh has won like 2 BAFTAs, but he'll ring his mate to say that he's just ran 9K. Doesn't that show like how humbling running is for everyone?
I didn't think we'd be taking running advice from Romesh, but it is completely true. And our advice would always be don't run faster than X. Like there's no minimum speed to your easy pace. The point is it should be really easy, really relaxed. And you're better off going running with a friend, ringing someone up, chatting, joining a run club, finding a way to make it easy that you can hold a conversation. And if that means you feel like you look silly, you're going so slowly, you're probably doing it right.
Yeah, but let go of your ego. Like it doesn't matter what any BAFTAs you've won. Like running owes you nothing. I think even I'm guilty of it. Probably everybody is, but run slowly. Running doesn't have to always be hard. You get more benefit from actually doing it at your own pace, making your easy recovery runs actually conversational and rejuvenating.
Yeah, absolutely. And fundamentally, if you can make it fun, you're going to do a lot more of it. And doing a lot of something for the long term will be the biggest way to thrive. A way to thrive in triathlon would be to have pedals on your bike.
Yeah.
Which sounds like obvious advice, but one that would have been very helpful for Harry Judd before taking on his first triathlon.
Yeah.
This is maybe the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I always tried to listen back to our Runna podcast after we had recorded them to try and, give myself feedback and listen to the way I ask a question and see if I could do it better in the future. I listened back to this episode, cycling home from work, and I was at the traffic lights laughing out loud, annoyingly to our own podcast, which sounds even more ridiculous. The people looking at me on their bikes at the traffic lights thought I was absolutely crazy. But so here we are, Harry Judd taking on his first ever triathlon. Would love to hear about your debut in the triathlon world.
Oh God, yeah, it was an absolute disaster. So I got invited, very lucky, got invited down to T100 triathlon series. I don't have a bike, so the guys down at T100 lent me a bike, very kind of them. Went and tried out some cleats. I hadn't been on a bike for like 5 years, and I went the day before, tried the cleats out, went out for about a mile or two. I was like, okay.
So these are the clip-on pedals?
The clip-on pedals.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I remember how to use these, that's fine. I sorted out the bike. Someone said, oh, do you want to go and rack it? Which, was a new term I'd learned. So I was like, yeah, go and rack it. Thinking, what the hell are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, we can go rack it. And someone was like, oh, don't worry, just come pick it up in the morning. We'll be here from 10. And I think my race was like at 11 or something. So I turned up at 10 and no one was there. And so I just kind of shuffled back to where they'd left my bike the night before. And I was like, that's my bike. And I was like, sod it, I'll just take it. There was like 3 other bikes there. They were all black bikes. My bike was a white bike. So I was like, that's the bike, the exact same one. So I took the bike, I racked it. And
which is literally putting a bicycle
on a rack. Yeah.
That's
yeah. Nice. In the transition section. So I did my swim, which went well. And I came out and I was taking my wetsuit off. And I was like, oh, this is such a vibe. This is so cool. And it was a great weather. There was loads of people there. And I'm jogging through trying to find my bike. I'm like, what the fuck is my bike? I find my bike. I put my shoes on, grab my helmet on, grab my bike, and I'm running through. And I'm like, that's, following all the signs. I've been really listening to the instructions. And then I got to the bike line where you're allowed to cross the line. And I jumped on my bike like a pro. And I looked down to put my cleats on. And there was no pedals on my bike. I can't tell you, I was fuming. And I am so competitive as well. So I don't know what a good triathlon time is, but I was like,
you're probably not going to get one without any pedals.
But I was like, I'm going to go hard as I can. And so I was like, there's no pedals on my bike. There's no pedals on my bike. I was literally shouting at everyone, there's no pedals on my bike. And I just had to turn around and run back through the transition bit. Excuse me. But like clip-clopping my way through because I had my cleats on. through the main section of all the family and friends come to watch. I was like, get out of my way. And I run to the bike bit and I'm like, there's no pedals on my bike. And then I hear, oh, hi, Harry. And it was Anya. And I was like, there's no pedals on my bike. And she's like, okay. It's like,
I was like, what do I do? I don't know.
yeah, help me.
Did you have any pedals in your handbag?
No, I thought about offering you my bike, but I've got totally different pedals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, someone quickly put some pedals on. I ran back through, jumped on my bike, and then off I went, pedaled away. I'd literally just cursing through the bike, going, oh my God, I just can't believe it. Oh my God. Anyway, off the bike, did the 5K run, and crossed the line, and they've got the cameras waiting for me. And they go, oh, well done, Harry, 1 hour 26. And I was like, there are no pedals on my bike.
Well, as I was listening it back, I was like, imagine being a spectator listening to this man try and complain that his bike doesn't have any pedals, as if that was someone else's fault. But then you were the spectator.
It was so surreal. It was like, oh, that's Harry Judd from McFly. And then it's like, why is he shouting at me? And then it was like, this is so surreal. Is this real? Like, why is he doing a triathlon? Why has he got no pedals? Like, oh, it was so funny.
I don't think there's much more that could be worse to forget than pedals on a bike, other than wheels.
You forgot shoes, though.
Actually, that is true. I did go to the Weymouth Half Ironman and realised, I think the day before, that I didn't have my cycling shoes. And for Half Ironman, that's a long way to go. You don't want to be doing it in your trainers. But I'd already kind of travelled up. The race was the next day. I had no chance to get back to London and then come back to Weymouth to get my shoes. But Jess, my girlfriend, was travelling up to visit, or to cheer. So I had to get her to go to my house and get my cycling shoes. But the problem was my house was locked and she had no way to get in. So I had to give her the clear instructions of how to open the side gate. I live somewhere different now, so these are not instructions on how to burgle me, to be clear. But there was a code to go down the side passage to kind of get in the back garden, climb over the fence, and then if you move the kind of garden kind of table, which wasn't very strong, climb on that, you could get onto the kind of flat section that runs over the kitchen to get to the bedroom window, which I would always leave unlocked. So she was able to then lift up the window, climb in, get my shoes, climb back out, and steal my shoes from my house, brought them to dinner the night before, took them to the race, did the triathlon, all went well. A year later, I signed up to Weymouth again, and I forgot my shoes again. So maybe I shouldn't be laughing at Harry Judd, because I'm just as bad.
Happens to the best of us. But I mean, pedals or shoes for a triathlon is like him turning up to a gig and forgetting his drumsticks. Like, imagine just like shadow drumming. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Feature of the Week. This week, we're covering Plan Replay, your training plan recap. Think Spotify Wrapped, but for running. When you finish a plan, you get a personalised celebration of your journey, showing your consistency, progress, and all your achievements. Designed to be something you want to share. We built this to honour the full story, not just the final result. Finishing a plan is massive because it's weeks of showing up even when it's been tough. Plan Replay gives you that proud moment and helps you carry momentum into whatever is next. When you finish your plan, it unlocks automatically. Go to Plan, view recent plans, and select your completed plan, and it's right there. View it and share it if you want. You've put in the work, now it's time to celebrate it.
Let's talk about your favourite tips for running. Please could you leave us with 2 of your best coaching tips?
Absolutely. Well, I think one that's been a theme, already in this episode, but a theme throughout everything from listening to some of the greatest sporting people in the whole world of running, has been that I think the key to being amazing is long-term consistency. And to some extent, that's, Jim, one of the keys to runners' success and to Anya's running success, as well as Lucy and Alex and everyone else. So it's consistency, but the only way to make your training consistent over the long term is to learn to love it. And that's going to be very different to each one of us. And I think my greatest piece of advice to anyone who's listened to the Runna Podcast over the years to take on with your running training is to work out what will make you happy. And then to set your life and your training up for that so that you can keep doing it for a very long time, almost by accident, because it's just the happy path to live your day, to have one of those gold medal days. And before you know it, you're stacking a lot of time And that continuous practice leads to greatness.
Yeah.
But so it's just working out how to have a gold medal day by accident. And I think to some extent it would be ignorant to listen to that and think that every day should be fun and easy and that's that. I think making it make you happy is different to it being fun and easy.
Mhm.
And I think like there's something very different to having fun and satisfaction. I think in practice it would probably be really fun to go on a night out and have some Aperol spritz for you, Anya. But you probably choose to get up at 4:30 a.m. and do your easy run or do a long run or whatever it's going to be. And that's quite hard. But it leads to you having a good day.
Yeah.
And I think that leads to satisfaction. So I think it's all about making you get that satisfaction, stacking it, and making it sustainable. If we're going to finish a week or a day's training and it's impossible that you're going to have to take the next 3 days off, it's not really going to work very long term. So finding a way that you can be happy, to be consistent for the long term, and then know that that will come and go and change as well. It might be a point in time where you need to be doing a little bit less, and that's okay. And there might be a point in time where you've got the energy and the time to focus and to dial it up.
Yeah.
But so long as you can work out what makes you tick, that you can stack that for a long time, you will be very good by accident, just like Alex and Lucy.
Yeah, I mean, you are full of wisdom, but that is one of the main takeaways and things I've learned from you is the difference between fun and fulfillment. Yeah, some things are fun, but do they ultimately fulfill you? Do they make you a better person? Because a better person is a happier person, and ultimately, a good runner is a happy runner. We rarely see runners that don't enjoy it running well because they're not finding it fulfilling. And so I think, yeah, really enjoying the whole process, not just looking ahead to that like gold medal moment, I think is really important.
For sure. And maybe a way that you can think about that is that there are some things that are fun. You know, for me, this would be playing Call of Duty. It's pointless. You get absolutely nothing from it at the end of it, but it's fun in the moment.
Yeah.
But I think you have to do the fulfilling, the satisfying, the important stuff first. And once you've done your day, you've succeeded, you've won your battles, if you have some spare time, you can have a little bit of fun. And the fun stuff, whether that's sitting on the toilet and scrolling on TikTok, whatever it is, fun in the moment, it leads to nothing. If we do too much of that, we'll be sad, we'll feel like we're going nowhere. So that should be the little stuff you get to at the end of the much more important, satisfying stuff.
Yeah. And just, making it sustainable, as you said. Sometimes you dial it up, sometimes you dial it back. And yeah, not just to praise you on your last podcast episode, but over the last few years, you've worked so hard and you've really shown that sometimes there are different priorities. Sometimes it's training, sometimes it's work, but it's also great to have your moment where you really focus on performance. And it's so totally fine to take a step back, re-find your motivation and then go again.
Absolutely. Well, in the interest of doing everything by pairs, I wanted to leave you guys with one more lasting bit of advice. And this is that nerves mean that you care. I think that, one thing that we say a lot is that your race day is your victory lap. And so often people will come and talk to me and say, I'm so nervous for my big marathon. I'm worried about what to do, blah, 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 all this kind of anxiety building up for the big race day. But fundamentally, that feeling of being a bit scared for this hard thing is because it matters. And it's brilliant that it matters. And that feeling is basically you building up your adrenaline, which is then going to help push you through this really hard thing that you care about. So while it might not be that helpful to know, but if you're a bit nervous, if you're a bit scared for the big thing you're working towards, that's exactly how it's meant to feel. And that's a great thing. And to some extent, I don't know to what extent you agree with me on this, but I now go and stand on start lines and I don't get that nervous and I don't get that scared because I've done too many and I'm so used to it. I stood on the start line of a triathlon on Saturday and genuinely it was kind of like, I've done all the admin, I'm here on the start line, let's get this done. I didn't have this amazing adrenaline and fly through the first bit, kind of this bizarre out-of-body experience because it's become more normalized. And so to some extent, it's also this brilliant privilege. It's that you really care about this thing that you're doing and harness that energy to do your very best.
Yeah.
And don't be scared of it.
Yeah, ultimately, I think if you're nervous on the start line, it's because deep down, you know you're capable of achieving something great. Because if you didn't think you were, you wouldn't care and you wouldn't have those nerves. And yeah, you are right. I think the more experience you have, the less nervous you get because you have that confidence in your own ability. And just you talking then about being on a start line, that got me a little bit like emotional that London this year, we were both on the marathon start line together. And I know it won't be our last start line together, but yeah, in our runner tops and having people around us being like, oh, we love the podcast, or Runner have really helped me through that. I know it won't be the last time we've done that, but that feels like quite a full circle moment now discussing it on your last Runner Podcast episode.
Well, it was quite funny actually because we bumped into each other at the start line. I didn't think we knew we were in the same the pens. And I was like, Anya, I am desperate for a pee, but I can't go for a pee because I don't want to get in trouble. Anyway, so I think you set off ahead. I managed to sneak off, find a place to go for a wee. And then I ran past you, and then you came past me at about 30k.
Yeah.
Anya was running a very progressive, very happy, smiley race, and I was pushing a lot harder and probably feeling less smiley at 30k.
Oh, no, I think we finished like seconds apart at the end. So I think we both helped each other out. A lot there, but ultimately, yeah, I don't think nerves serve you that much. It's converting that nervous energy into positive energy, keeping calm and relaxed, and working out your why. And your why on that day was Scoobie when I passed you.
Well, it was very funny. Anya ran past me, and I think at the time I was having a gel, and Jess, my girlfriend, had written notes on each of my gels. This one was that Scoobie loves me was a note on my gel that I was having at 30k or whatever it was. I'm reading it out loud, and at the exact moment I'm reading it out loud, Anya comes past me, and I'm saying, Scoobie loves me, kind of like, you must have been running past, being like, Ben is completely disorientated, hallucinating, having a runner's high, maybe a runner's low. There's no way he's finishing this race. But anyway, you soldiered on past and did a very good marathon.
I just remember it's like, Scoobie loves me, Scoobie loves me, Scoobie loves me. Oh, yeah, I know it won't be our last start line together. It's a good memory, though. I would love you to talk about your future goals at this point, and what does the next few years of Ben's life and racing look like?
It's a great question. And to some extent, I don't really know. I think, first of all, I'm going to have a little bit of a break. I think, as I've spoken about, and June even spoken about today, like it's been a very focused, intense few years getting Runner to where it is today. And fundamentally, it's in an amazing place. The business is still growing really quickly. We're helping so many people all around the world. But at the same time, we've got the most incredible team that actually I have so much confidence that we're going to keep thriving and going in the right direction without me necessarily needing to, guide the ship and get all of the kudos despite not doing all the work. And so with that in mind, I'm going to take a break and probably work out what to do next. I think I've worked out a few things. One of which is that I've always been a personal trainer, a running coach. What I love doing both before Runner and today is helping people. So I think I'm going to make sure that's something that I carry on into the future. What that looks like exactly, I don't know, whether that's running a cafe and a run club and a cycle club in my local area, or starting a new podcast, or finding a different way to help people, fitness retreat, something like that. I'm not going to do nothing. So watch this space, and I'm still working that out. And I think at the same time, taking a bit of a break means that I can probably try and utilize some of the lessons that I've learned from the last 100 episodes, put my own training higher up the pecking order. I've been really serious with my cycling the last year or so, and I'm quite excited to kind of put that level of intensity or focus to all of my areas of fitness that I care about. I've only ever had enough time to kind of really progress one thing, so I've been progressing my cycling, and my running's been trickling along, but I want to put that same energy into my running, swim a bit more, do my mobility, do my strength, and become a really healthy, strong person. Fundamentally, like I was before the business. I think be happy. I want to be a good dog dad, be a good friend. And I'm sure I would love to be a dad one day and be able to do that while I've still got balance in my life. So yeah, a lot to work out, but I will be prioritizing uploading on Strava just a little bit more.
Yeah, You talk about swim, bike, run there. Is there a triathlon on the horizon?
There is. I'm doing my 10th Ironman of my life this coming summer.
Crazy.
I've done one a year. Sorry, I've done at least one a year since I did my first one. And unlike my running achievements, I have actually managed to improve my Ironman time every year that I've done an Ironman. Albeit last year the gain was only 8 seconds. Hopefully I can again set another PR and maybe by a little bit more than 8 seconds. So I don't have super long now, as we're already in June and the Ironman's in August. But hopefully I can have a good few months of training, do well at that, and also work out what the next big goal is. Whether I do an ultra marathon, whether I focus on getting a bit faster, or what it is. But I think one thing's for sure is that I love running, I love cycling, I love my triathlon, and I want to be a fit, healthy person and keep helping people in a format that I need to work out what that is.
Yeah, we've both got that Ironman the same weekend. I think yours is Saturday, mine's the Sunday.
Yeah,
which
Anya's
is
doing
scary.
Anya's doing Copenhagen the day after me, and they're only a bridge apart, so maybe I'll be out to cheer you on.
Well, I think whatever you put your mind to, you will be successful at it, because that's just the sort of person you are. And I'm speaking to from everybody at Runna and everybody at home, like listening as well. Thank you so much for being so genuine, because I know you just said what you really care about is helping people, and that isn't just a line that you say. Like, I know that's your reasoning behind Runna, and you should be so proud of it. And I know as a company we are, and we're helping people doing this podcast, like listening at home. Hopefully they're inspired by these conversations. But yeah, I think you really have changed people's lives, and you've changed my life. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunities that this podcast has brought, that Runna have brought, and we will do you proud. And yeah, you've taught us like so much about the company and about the industry, and I know we've got all the tools now to continue helping people be the best runners and enjoy the sport as much as they can.
That's very kind. But no, I feel that we're in brilliant hands. For everyone listening at home, honestly, the team at Runna HQ is incredible. Anya, Tristan, Ellen, Jazz, everyone who does the podcast, and everyone who runs the business in Runna HQ and at Strava too. I think we have the most incredible setup to keep making Runna brilliant and helping you for the longest term future ahead. So I can leave knowing that you're in brilliant hands. And otherwise, I guess you won't hear from me again on the podcast. But I'm sure I'll see you guys at start lines, runner events, and parkrun in the future. So thank you so much for listening. And of course, thank you, Anya, for being an amazing co-host. And thank you to the incredible team that have helped build the podcast to what it is for the last 100 episodes.
Yeah, and it's not the end of the Runna Podcast. Thankfully, we're not going anywhere. Kayla and I will be back co-hosting the episodes going forward, and hopefully Ben can bear to listen to it on his cycles home still and have a little laugh.
Oh, I'll be listening to them. Notifications on, and if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Put the notifications on. And you never know, you might enjoy them more without having to listen to my annoying voice.
No, thank you for everything, Ben, and thank you all for listening. We will see you next time.
This episode is brought to you by the Runner app, the #1 rated running coaching service worldwide. And if you want to try it with 2 weeks totally for free, then use code podcast26 for your 2-week free trial. And please remember to rate and follow us on your listening platforms to help us climb the rankings so that we can keep bringing you the very best episodes with the most inspiring guests to help support you with your running. Thanks.